Hey y'all. Gonna be working on the Shelby today. I have a few pieces to assemble, and I guess what's next is just priming. Um, I started the chassis and I have the engine. So I mentioned before I needed that like blue engine paint. You can see it here, the Ford blue paint. I did order a vial, I think by testers. It should come in the next few days or so. But I have a few things to do prior to that. So let's see. Just want to also go live on, not go live, join the Twitch Discord chat. Yeah, cool. Um, so yeah, I'm picking up a more regular pace with this. And I restructured my workbench, so I'm now seated. I still have a lot of my supplies, the other bench. But yeah, so let me open up, rearrange a little bit here. I upgraded my iPhone cam software. Um, yeah, and get out and I hope to see some familiar faces tonight. Be on for probably a couple hours, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. Um, just as mentioned, picking up a more frequent cadence with this. Yeah, and I'll do some gaming too. The capture card that I got, but just glad to be back online more frequently. Let's see. Um, Bear with me. I'm just kind of getting used to my new setup. I actually have more space, but when I used to stand, I used to be a bit more mobile. Yeah. Okay. So I'm jumping ahead to the chassis, and then I'm going to go back to the engine assembly. And I guess these are Duck. Thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate it. I saw you guys. I knew you were online earlier. I saw you guys in the community chat. I was just doing stream setup. I know you're not a big fan of automobiles, but I also do have that F-18 that is painted, um, and I might clear coat today. Balloon Shooter, thank you so much for the follow. Means a lot to me. My new goal is to make it to 100 followers by the end of, I forget the exact date I put in, by the end of, I think like by the end of April, something like that. Guns N' Roses, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. And again, Duck, thank you so much for the raid. Means a lot. Um, Kill, thank you for the follow. Um, by the way, I am in chat, not in the community. I could switch to the community, but since this is, since we have live stream chats dedicated to live streams, I'll stay there. Um, I did have audio trouble there once, but I think it was because I had a friend who was um, like not using wireless headphones, and I have pretty good earbuds right now. But it feels nice actually to do scale modeling seated. I switched benches. Ian, good to see you. It's good to see you swing by. Um, as I mentioned on a different stream, I'm picking up a more regular cadence again. And yeah, really happy to be online again. How's everyone doing this Saturday? Or maybe it's Sunday for some of you.
There he is.
There you go. Please tell me if the audio is working okay on my end because I've been on like looped before, but it seems to be fine.
I didn't
Um,
realize you were in the live stream. Sorry.
yeah, I switched to the live stream just because, well, we have live stream
No,
chats
that's the way where
for a
you should
reason.
be.
So yeah,
We just ended up over there.
yeah. So it's good to see you guys join. I'm I'm mostly
So
focusing on the
you,
Shelby, but I might do some
I
of
thought
that
you were
F-18
I thought you were gonna
too.
color your instructions.
I could do that. No, I mean that was just it was actually
It's an
practice
ins-
for my new stream setup. Um,
it's an
yeah.
instruction manual, not a coloring book. Have
Why could double as a coloring book?
It can't hurt to pre-color what, so you don't need to check. I mean, I
Yeah.
have two, so I don't have to flip the page,
Paint
but
paint
it's a waste
wise,
of
you know
time.
exactly what each part needs to be.
Yeah. Anyway, so what am I looking for? I'm looking for, let me zoom in. I upgraded my cam like driver so I can kind of switch settings, turn on the flash too, but tends to make it maybe overly bright. There we go. So I'm looking for this here. I guess it's the suspension, something like that.
Sun sprue.
Yeah, there
yep.
we go. And it
It's
is 22.
part number 24. Both sides.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
it's
not, that's not
21.
Canadian. That's not for Canadians.
You guys are
A yeah
better at
A not
deciphering
EH.
than I. Oh, I think did I already saved it. A little baggy.
I'm gonna stop.
I'm just hoping that this doesn't become a putty disaster like his plane.
There's nothing really. So I've been really pleased. Um, there really aren't many like seam line issues.
No, it shouldn't be.
It's AMT, and this is my first.
You know, if you stop now, wait 11 days, we're gonna have a group build.
Well, I've already started. I'm not gonna like get too far on this today. It's mostly gonna be priming, but I could switch over to the F-18. But I
I was
kind of don't
joking.
wanna
No worries. I would hold
lose.
you back if you wanted to enter it later anyway. So
Yeah, maybe.
it's okay if you started already.
I tend to be slow with finding the right part on this road. There it is. I found it.
We should probably start model circles that way I finish on time.
You never finish a model. Shut up.
I'll bring out my F-18 just it's where my old bench is, just for kind of
How am I gonna know if you start now anyways, Ian? So
just for bragging. So it's painted, and it is painted. There's a little bit of overspray, but I'm quite pleased. Like I can touch this up. The hold on, let me like center this. The the nose, the end of the fuselage. I didn't really mask that
put,
as well as I
put your
wanted.
hand underneath it.
This should refocus as
It's gonna
yeah,
focus on the instructions being the wise part. There you go.
Yeah. Cameras like
but
sharp lines.
yeah. Let me do this. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
nice. That's
not
right.
perfect, but I'm quite pleased actually overall with the dark gray and the light gray on the bottom.
I don't want to criticize, but it looks like you got moss in your cockpit.
Oh, that's no,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
that's a
joking.
masking. Yeah, that's a masking sponge. I didn't want to
I'm
paint. I
joking.
didn't want to put on the canopy at first, but I mean, the next step would be really clear coating if I'm not gonna touch anything.
Coral. It's coral.
Uh,
It's the seaplane.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, what
Bermuda
do you
Triangle
guys say?
plane.
Should I? Because with a car, you would like wet sand a lot. You'd wet sand, but you can't really wet sand something that has uneven surfaces. So I think the next step would be clear coating and just the decals. But clear coating really smells.
Is that a primer you had down or your base coat?
No, that's you mean for the Shelby or the F18?
F18.
That's the base coat of
Okay.
it looks like primer, but it's dark ghost gray or gull gray. It's like dark ghost gray on the top and light ghost gray on the bottom.
Yeah, if you're
That's the
happy with your
scheme.
seam lines and stuff like that and everything else, then gloss it up.
Yeah, it's just that's a really, whenever I clear coat, that's a really fumey situation. And so it's
Are you
either
still
that or
using
priming.
a can for your clear coat?
I am just for clear coating and priming because I want to use up the cans. I'm kind of like frugal like that. Country girl, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Hope to see you again one of these days. Yeah, I'm just using them for because I
No,
want to keep them
Stassi.
up. Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't remember if you got an airbrush or not. That's why.
I have 2 or 3, but I've also been lazy to clean them the last 2 months. Just being honest. Okay.
So we're going to talk about airbrushes now.
No,
No.
Okay.
No, we're done with airbrushes now.
All right.
guys, I'm dropping.
Okay,
This
Kill.
Yeah,
this jet
you're
lag is
not
Later,
good.
mate.
No
Good
worries.
to
killing me a
see you.
minute, so I'm going to go to bed.
See
Thanks
you
for
tomorrow.
stopping
Sleep,
by.
man.
Yeah,
Get some good rest.
hopefully I should shake it off by tomorrow if I get some sleep now because I've been awake for like 25 hours now, so I need to
Jesus.
just try and get rid of it.
Yep.
So I will catch you all tomorrow. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thanks for tuning
Be
in.
good. No problem, Pete.
Yeah, the other skill I have to. It's like I lack the most beginner skill. It's just finding the part and the screw.
Well,
I have to because I haven't really
it's not a
scaled
thing at
models in a
all,
couple
Pete.
months.
I mean, there are some sprues that are just absolutely crazy stupid. So yeah, it's not you at all.
I think the flash setting actually makes it like overly bright. No, I'll keep it on. But yeah, I upgraded the driver. I use Epoch Cam and now the Pro version doesn't have the watermark.
Hello, Mr. Pete.
Hey Bart, how goes it?
Not too bad. Sorry, just making supper on this end, so we need a note here a little bit.
What
You
you
didn't mess
making?
much. We're trying to convince them to colors instruction book, but
Yeah, he doesn't want to go for the coloring book. We don't know why.
Works for me. Hey, Ian.
I mean, I can
think I
color.
covered them up.
I can color instead of priming if you guys want to see that, but I'm so
Ignore
slow. I'm
us.
trying to make progress.
I guarantee you, as soon as you start coloring, we'd ask you why you're not modeling.
Yeah.
You got yourself a sit-down desk now, did you?
Oh
Yeah, I mean, I always had it. I just swapped. I set
Took
up
a
a
while to
room for my
realize.
home office. Yeah,
He got lazy.
You got lazy at
I
last.
got lazy. I'm more focused when I stand. That was part of the reason why I scaled models standing, but I started getting back pain. And
I just want to point out the absolute perfection and cleanliness of that mat.
Oh, just spill a little glue. That'll be the end of that.
yeah, because I only use the mat for cutting. I do everything else. Here, and you can see the other side. It's well, not this side, but if I fold, there's plenty of stains there. Mats are more for aesthetic and like
No, I was talking about the
developers.
Humbrol one that you had in your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. I think it's just like a cool, tool, and it is a tool, or it's like a maintenance thing. But they're nice for scale conversions. Not that I particularly use them.
Until you spill extra thin all over it and the grids go away.
Mm.
I like doing this, you know, when the flashing is really minuscule, but it's kind of annoying to peel. I've talked about this before. I just
I
dab a
do
little
use
bit
the
of cement.
grids. I do use the grids on the board for like when I'm cutting tape and stuff. I'll try and line the tape up
Yep.
with the grids
Yep,
and
I do
then
that.
cut along that. I will say I do that.
Have you guys been cooking anything interesting lately?
You say cooking?
Cooking. I haven't really
Yeah.
checked out the chats too much.
Well, I have about
We actually
50 smelts in the oven right now. They're little itty bitty tiny fishies.
I think we got rid of the What's Cooking channel, did we not?
We did.
Yeah, stuff's been consolidated. I didn't notice that.
So speaking of smelt, are you in the UP?
I'm in Massachusetts.
Now I was talking about smelt man.
Oh, I'm in Ottawa, in Canada.
Okay, yeah, same difference.
Same
UP
difference.
of Michigan, smelt was a big thing.
We can't get them here, actually. I used to dip them down in Nova Scotia when I grew up on the east coast of Canada, but I did finally find a store here in Ottawa that actually sells them. So I buy a big bag of them. So I was sitting here while I was muted. I was sitting here cleaning 50 smelts with a fillet knife.
Yep. Yeah, when I was in the UP of Michigan for just short of 2 years,
Yeah.
smelt fishing and smelt was a big thing up there.
Oh, they're so yummy. They're like popcorn. Eh? You just put a little flour, an egg wash flour on them, throw them in the oven like I got right now. They're gonna come out.
Yep.
I'm gonna sit here with a great big bowl full of the things and eat them like popcorn. Like you even eat the bones. Like a lot of people don't even cut
Yep.
the heads off or take the guts out. I take the heads off and give them a very quick thing. But yeah, they're so good.
This
I'm gonna
is-
pay for it. But
This is seafood. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about a fish.
it's a fish.
Yeah,
It's about 3 inches long, 2 to 3 inches long.
They're
that's
about
what they-
the size of a sardine.
Yeah, and
Okay,
you go out
gotcha.
with dip nets in the rivers during the spawn, and you can just scoop like 60 or 70 in each dip net out of the. In Canada, when I was growing up, I don't know what the rules are now. We were allowed 1 bucket per person per day. And we would sit there for the next 4 days cleaning these things. And we used to put them in the old plastic ice cream tubs with water and freeze them and put them in the freezer. It's just, and all winter long, we just pull them out whenever and make up a batch. So
And
it's
is the
comfort
end-
food, I guess.
Is it comparable to like a fish and chips type of fried fish?
No, not at all. They're really, really hard to explain.
They're like anchovies
It's almost
or
like
sardines,
a sardine hush puppy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
That kinda makes
basically
sense.
what it is. Yeah, sardine
get what
hush
you mean.
puppy.
I'm gonna use my thick model cement glue for this. I'm going at like a kit checker pace. There we go.
Who's this kit checker guy?
He has his own Discord, but he's on. I mean, he's definitely on more frequently than I am. But
He's. I've heard he's kind of a weirdo.
Hey, you can always just have a note.
why? Just because he's
like-
European?
He's European and like he talks weird English.
Well, that's not. It's not his native language. But I mean,
He's fucking-
he's
Yeah. Kit
fucking
checker,
with you.
Kit checker, and I have actually done a dual stream together
Oh, cool. On Twitch or YouTube?
on Twitch.
You can do dual streams on Twitch.
Yep.
Well,
Mhm.
what we do is we get on Discord and we pipe the Discord into our streams,
Yeah.
and then what I do is I capture his Twitch stream, and I put it in one of the corners as a web page capture on my stream.
Hmm.
A program that
Okay,
works
that
really
makes sense.
good, better
Yeah.
than Discord, is Video Ninja, and
Yeah,
it
Video
works
Ninja is
really well for
good.
that.
Yeah, especially if you've got more than one person. Yeah, Video Ninja works great. That's what a lot of the D&D streamers use. People who are streaming D&D games, they'll use
Looks
Video
all right, I
Ninja.
think. So this is all I can really do for now because just order of assembly, and I like with AMT um, how they number the steps, especially when there's a lot of like similar looking things like the axles and the suspension. Um, but they're all different. I really think at this point they should be primed separately because there's different colors. Like this is, I believe, I is steel and A is like black, and then assembled once painted.
You don't
So
have to prime.
yeah, I don't have to prime, but I prefer priming, especially for like texture purposes. You find any imperfections. Um,
Or you
but
can be like me
anyways,
and use your primer as your base coat.
right, and like the model itself, it's black, so I could avoid painting some pieces, but like I'd rather like the body's black and it's molded in black, but I'd rather actually um repaint. I don't know. I don't have to make that call yet. I'm not painting the body. But back to the engine. I was showing when I was working on this last time. I got a bunch of spare, not spare, but like detailed parts here. And the main one is this one that you can see through the Ziploc. There's nothing really that applies yet except the radiator cap. And the radiator cap um, isn't part of the engine, it's part of the radiator. So I ordered that Ford blue paint. Should arrive in a couple days. It is true, I don't have to prime, but for the engine, especially because it's going to be blue on black, I definitely want to prime. And I didn't set up my macOS screen capture properly. Well, I'll try, but forgive me if this screws things up. But let me move this to the top and see if this works. No. So, never mind. Um, Basically, like, I looked at a lot of reference pics, and with this, this isn't as realistic as what you see in real life on the Shelby. Now, like, they recommend painting this part, and I don't know the terminology, whatever radiates or whatever goes towards the, I guess, the
The manifold.
stick shift. Yeah, it's steel, but I've seen real life reference pics where it's also this like blue. Anyways,
It, de-
though these should be primed. Um,
it depends on the manifold. Like if you went with original stuff, then it would probably end up rusting over time. At, Other ones are chromed. Like if you went with a more upmarket car,
yeah,
they'd be chromed out, that sort of thing. So they wouldn't be rusted.
I have a bunch of reference
But
pics. I'll probably just go with what seems coolest. Um,
95% of the time you have the car with the hood down anyway, so you don't see the engine.
right, right. I enjoy the hyper realism, and I have my
Mhm.
stains and liners here. Black looks nice on steel. Brown looks nice sometimes as well.
You know how hard it is to get that particular bottle you have in your hand right now?
I do know because I
Haven't,
bought this several years ago, and when I look online now, it's very
haven't
difficult to find.
haven't seen one of those for about
I
two
get it.
years.
Yeah. You know what I wish we had, and let me just pull this out because I will be doing some painting. Um, I'm getting oriented. I have a lot of my enamel paints here and some of my Tamiya. Look, it's true. I don't have to prime. Maybe I'll give at least some pieces a shot without priming. Yeah, so I should have all of like the steel stuff because I did that Camaro and there's so much overlap. I have aluminum. There's like metallic silvers. I have steel somewhere. But I'm a big enamel guy. By the way, this is what I used for the F-18, the mission models. I was telling Bart about it. I think
Mhm.
you said, I don't know if he's still here. He's a fan of these two. Because I gave up on like the Vallejo. I decided not to use them, and I found the exact colors I needed. So yeah, couple things. One is I should. This will only take like a couple minutes. I should transfer my paint booth here, anyways, because I can paint in it. So I'm not gonna even leave or anything, but I just want to make sure nothing really. I'm not deassembling it. Just gonna carry it over with the airbrushes, and I still have that caliper. See, I'm just trying to not airbrush today because I don't want to get into airbrush cleaning, and that will kind of just ruin the fun of it. I should do that,
Mhm.
morning prior to a stream. But I definitely want to carry over my booth and see how, and compressor. So let me do the compressor first. And I have a lot more space on this bench, so I got my compressor here. Just kind of reorienting things. But the booth is still good, even if I do prime with spray can.
Mhm.
I still prefer venting that out and wearing my mask. But I'm really in the mood to hand paint. And the engine, at least the manifold, that I can definitely hand paint. It's small enough where it wouldn't really matter if I'm airbrushing or hand painting. I'm trying to kind of not have I have a Model Master booth and trying to not detach the exhaust hose and just kind of curate as one unit. There we go. I didn't really want to do this before I started the stream because I wasn't sure which direction things would go. So yeah, let's see if this fits. I might have to just kind of shove things a few inches. Maybe I'll just make sure I don't hit any pieces. I don't really mind if my trays get mashed. Yeah, I might need to do some bigger adjustments. It's actually no, I just have to curve this off. This is like serious manual labor. Most manual labor I've done with scale modeling. Actually have to lift 20 pounds, half a pound. Okay. Fortunately I have a tripod that extends, but I fit it. If I'm hand brushing, I'm not gonna like vent or anything. I'll just use the lighting from the hood. So let's see. I don't know. You guys can help me make the call. Should I just hand brush like the manifold and some engine pieces without setting up like the exhaust, or should I prime the bigger parts? I'm tempted to just hand brush.
Your call, babe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hand brush this because I'm waiting for that paint, and I will spray paint this part. But yeah. Um,
The thing to weigh with each of them is like if you hand brush, you know there's going to be kind of brush marks, or maybe come on a little thick, or
yeah.
that sort of
No, I
thing
know.
down that line. Whereas with airbrushing, you might not get to every nook and cranny while you're spraying it, but you still get a kind of even solid coat on there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a way off.
Right.
Yeah, I love doing engines. Engines is my thing. When I get in a model, I always love
Oh, I love
trying to take
engines.
the engine and I always try to customize it, add all the wiring and all the extras that they didn't
For
provide,
sure.
and then immediately seal it up in the model and never see it again. Or
You
find
can
out that
still, yeah.
most of my customizations I've added won't allow it to fit inside the model.
You can definitely still like if if it's like a muscle car and you can open the hood, it's definitely peak and
Right. You know
see.
what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And I am gonna customize the engine pretty heavy with this extra parts. And I mean, I know I could have made my own wires and like spark plug kind of connections with melting a sprue, but I took the easy way out and ordered wiring. But let's see. So if I'm painting, I try to consolidate. I'll paint the manifold, and yeah.
Oh man.
No, it's actually the instruction sheet says the manifold is also this Ford steel. Let's see. The main colors are A and F and I. This is where
All
the
Ford
coloring
engines
pencils.
are blue. All Dodge engines are orange.
Oh, this is the French sheet. Which one? So,
Some
this is
engines
Spanish, but I
are
know enough of
green.
Spanish. So A is black. It's definitely no need to prime. Uh, Black can go on black, uh, but it would be more vibrant. And I'm guessing matte black. No, I mean, what I did like a semi-gloss black would look nice. And then I is, where did I put the English? Um, Instruction manual, instruction sheet. Okay. Yeah, I, and then silver painting is fun. So what's I? I should be steel. It's steel, indeed. I still need to get brass. That comes later. And F is silver. So those are fun to paint. Black's kind of boring to be painting black on black, and I'd rather spray that since I have a better eye for, not spray, but airbrush the black. But with these micro parts, I'd do either airbrush or airbrush. But let's see. I still haven't, did I remove the flashing? So I might have some cleanup work to do. As I'll be back in a sec, I'm just gonna get like some coconut water. You guys like coconut water?
Eh, I only usually end up drinking it when I'm trying to defeat a kidney stone.
It's refreshing. Okay. Yeah. So, and I don't know why the flash keeps going off. I could definitely actually use it. I think it's like auto flash. I don't have a overhead light like I did in the other bench here, so if the flash had worked, it would have been helpful. But anyway, um, yeah, so these, I guess these are what, the manifolds? No, these are what, these come out of each cylinder and then connect to the exhaust.
Yeah, it's called a manifold.
I had a feeling, yeah. Just want to make sure.
No worries, sir.
Any
Hey,
excess
it's almost
packing?
1 a.m. here for me, so I'm probably gonna cut out.
All right, have a good night, my man. Thanks for tuning
You too,
in.
sir.
I'll
No
see you around.
worries. Have a good one, Pete.
Yep,
Talk to you later.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
For those of you guys who are still on, any fun plans for tomorrow? Meaning Sunday. I'll probably just scale model more off stream, do that airbrush cleanup. I'm looking for the engine itself now. I could put a light off somewhere. Oh, it's in my paper. Which would add lighting, but I'm just gonna paint on my cardboard paper carton or whatever. Um, the weather's gotten a lot better in Boston lately. Well, it's been a mild winter, but we had a few cold days. Just figuring out the alignment. I try and be extra careful in this kind of stuff when I'm jumping ahead and um, doing things slightly out of sequence. So, yeah, this is in this direction, right? This is oriented this way, and this is then the left hand, the left side manifold. Yep, okay, that fits. That should be completely flush, and this is flashing. So I know what to snip off now. I think I'll just paint steel. It'll give me a good, maybe if I'm seeing I don't like how it goes on, I'll airbrush. In general, I always airbrush. It's just aside from the primer and the clear, but it's just not worth doing that cleanup right now. This one gave me a good sense of how it will all look hand brushed in without a primer. I haven't hand brushed in a while. Only like detailed lines and like designs. Prior to airbrushing, I had the Tamiya spray cans, which I still do have. But yeah. I don't know the flash to turn on. There we go. Bingo. So yeah. I mean, this will be kind of invisible. This would be nice to clean up. This flashing is a little annoying, but it's mild enough where there's really no need for putty. Yeah. So that's why I've been very impressed with this AMT kit. It's close to being perfect. I definitely need to figure out my screen share on my Mac because it'd be nice to show off those reference pics. Let me actually check them now. I can share them in the Discord. People are curious. In fact, I might start if we still have like the forums for builds. I might add these there. Should get a look for the manifolds. I don't really have a clear shot though. Yeah, I do. I have a shot of the model itself, of the engine. Someone kind of looks sloppy. Well, to my eye. I can definitely hand brush these, but I want to attempt heat staining. And Plasmo does a terrific job with heat staining. So I'm wondering if I should really, I can hand brush these, but heat staining is post sheeting. Yeah, I gotta keep the notches. This is all blue. And I'm waiting for that to arrive. I'll want to prime that. I'll want to prime this first for sure. But yeah. Let me trim up the other side. Do my little trick. Cement. Kind of just smudge it around. I have like sanding sticks and sponges, but these parts are too small, I would say, for that kind of thing. One thing I'm wondering, did I mess up with the manifold or are they just asymmetrical? I think they're asymmetrical, but something seems off. Hmm. No, they are asymmetrical, so I'm good. Truth be told, this would be annoying to hand brush. There's too many crevices, and it's definitely doable, but it'd be enjoyable, more enjoyable to airbrush. So I'll let this be. I'm gonna trim that up later. In terms of pieces, what's F? Now F and B, the belt, the radiator belt, I'm guessing. That, the belt should be hand brushed for sure. But after B is, yeah, I'm just kind of deducing what needs to be hand brushed for sure. What needs to be airbrushed. So why don't I do the manifold after all? Not the manifold, but yeah, the manifold. Um, that is unlike what the instructions recommend. It's also should be steel colored. And yeah, I've already removed all the flashing. So that's steel colored. The parts that are black, I'm gonna make an assumption should be semi-gloss black. I built a muscle car before. I'm judging kind of just using my experience with that. And I will prime the chassis, even though I won't prime this. So yeah, this will kind of be an experiment. I might not like how the hand brushing is going. So I'll save these. And what else? What else is steel colored that is kind of coming up in terms of the assembly? The front of the chassis. But I don't really want to. In fact, maybe not prime. This is an exception where not priming or like a black prime would look better. It would kind of work like instead of diluting the black with whiteness of the primer, keeping the black or priming with black would kind of like pre-shade. And that's looked nice on steel. So what else? The the wheels themselves, not the tires, but the wheel components, the inner wheel, that's steel. But those are convenient to airbrush altogether. I mean, basically everything should be airbrushed, in my opinion, unless you're like painting dots and stuff like on the cockpit, which I have done, by the way, with this cockpit. But I'm almost tempted to switch to the F-18, but I don't want to do any serious. I don't want to clear coat today. I'm just not ready for fumes. And I ventilate, but yeah. So, okay, some hand painting, and I'll practice on sprues. Let me put this here. And, I mean, heck, maybe I will switch to coloring. I wanted to solely focus on the scale modeling, but I paint slowly, and it's a process in and of itself. You know, with enamels, like with acrylics, there's a procedure. Any thin, but you gotta be extra deliberate to just dilute properly. So I'm gonna get what I need. And you know, this hoodie's kind of making me really like hot, so I'm gonna take it off. I also don't. I always wear a shirt. I don't really care about, in terms of painting. I almost never get paint on it, but yeah, just have some painting supplies here, brushes, thinner. So right, I need my painting trays and my brush cleaner, and yeah, some tack. Um, Let me make sure I have the paint. I'm gonna put some plastic wrap on my keyboard just to keep things extra protected. So yeah, I put my paints. I had them earlier on the stream. Um, Sorry, I'm just rearranging a lot of things since it's a new setup for me. Yeah. Um, Here they are. So I'm gonna find steel colored, flat steel. Perfect. Um, Set up a couple of these. I'll get a sprue to practice on, and I just need my thinner, my enamel thinner. Let me refill that. Um, I'll do this in my bathroom over the sink. I usually don't have spills. Actually, I can do it here. I'm pretty confident enough. I don't need to change locations. I saved some. I've been thinking of saving like just household and grocery supplies, like this glass tin. This could be just like brush, extra brush cleaner, a little bit of additional enamel just to, um, rest my brushes in. So let me transfer first. And I use Tester's enamel thinner. Enamel isn't as hot as lacquer, but it's hotter than, what do you call it? It's hotter than acrylics. So it's not odorless, I gotta say that, but it's rather mild. How do you guys like transfer your, if you do transfer your, oh, I have a funnel as well. I definitely want to use that in addition. So I like to use both a funnel and something that like gives me surface tension so it doesn't spill over the sides. And it's a smooth technique. So it's not odorless. There is some odor, but it's like kind of like, I kind of like it. It smells a little gasoline-y. It's a bit stronger than like thin cement, but I choose not to mask up, and then as soon as I cap it, it's fine, and I use small amounts. Okay, so I always have a spare. Bring my paper towels out. Paper towels work better than toilet paper, actually, and better than swabs and stuff like that. That's for airbrushing. For hand brushing, paper towels are the way to go. Let me put this back as well. I know I'm doing a lot of back and forths, but it's just, you know, reorienting or orienting and kind of swapping supplies. And my brushes. Gotta get those. There we go. what I've learned for like small parts, especially with enamels, you don't want the smallest brush actually. You want something that's rather small but kind of round, semi-flat. Um, yeah, and yeah, tack. I definitely want tack. So I'll have I guess, a way to hold up the manifold. Just kind of shove a little bit of tack in here and just skewer it like so. And I'll miss the edge, but I can touch that up later. This makes it super convenient. You guys tell me if you do stuff like this or you prefer the alligator clips. The alligator clips never really sat well with me. I always felt like it might damage um, the piece. Frankly, I don't know if I'll use this yet. To dip my brush, I'll just use a second painting tray. That's usually how I roll. Wrong cap. Usually spills happen, and I'm lucky that I haven't had many spills. Not from like during the pour, but from like rushing or forgetting to cap something. Yeah, let me move this mat. This is why this mat is so clean. I never really paint on it. Move this out the way. And yeah, this. Have paper towel, steel. I have mixing spatulas, but I'll just use a toothpick for this. Mixing spatulas I use for airbrushing. I don't use steel trays for airbrushing. This is basically like a palette with a paintbrush. I did start with hand brushing, but before I got an airbrush, I moved on quickly to Tamiya spray cans. So this is a rare thing for me. I would say for something like this is a little a little too wide, a little too thick. I'll go with this. Just kind of using my artist intuition. Right. So first things first. Keep this away. Separate Ziploc. I don't want to get any paint on it. First things first, I'll open this guy up. I always talk about my little trick with putting extra thinner into the cap. That way things always open easily. Next time you use the paint jar. But I love nails, and it is said that they lay on better and with hand brushing and airbrushing. I use them for airbrushing too. You just have to be kind of diligent about your dilution and mixing. They have very good coverage properties. If there is any kind of scent, it's mild. I mean, the starting point, people say milky consistency, but I feel that's ambiguous. I look at the way it lays on. So to start, I just want to make sure it's mixed well. I don't shake, I stir. And 50-50, that's the dilution I start with. Oh, and yeah, so I just do drops at a time. It's like 3 drops. It's a small part, relatively speaking, so that might already be enough, but let's do a couple more. 1, 2, do this last one. And something like 5 or 6 drops of the thinner. I'll see how that dilutes. 1, 2, 3. That was too much. So definitely need to add like 3 more drops of the paint. 1, 2, 3. The thing with hand brushing, it's just not economical. You end up using more paint than you need. And I'm only doing one part. Normally I'd like coalesce or aggregate a lot of the same parts in the kind of consecutive steps that are the same color and just airbrush them all at once. But this is a somewhat of an experiment. So let me see how that is diluted. I think it's actually still too thin. Yeah. Yeah, it's very watery. That should do the trick. And you know, the thinner evaporates, so it thickens. Every few minutes it becomes thicker. The pigment stays. I might be able to thicken. Let me try the sprue. You know, with hand painting, you don't really have to, it's not like painting a wall. You don't have to spread much. It should flow